Okay, so I pinned the pattern pieces on, and yes, since this is my muslin, I'm not putting all of the straight grains actually on the straight grain. This is the cross grain. It will remain as stable, but I wanted to save as much of the sheeting as possible. The straight of the grain would have been this way, but it's not on the bias, so it's not going to stretch. And really, I'm just checking to see how will the fit be. When I cut out my real fabric, my fashion fabric, I will be using straight of grain. I've got one more pattern piece to do, but you know, I've used up all the pins that I brought upstairs, and so I'm going to wait till I cut a few more pieces out. And I've been eyeballing the straight of grain. Now, I've been sewing for quite a while, and I've got a pretty good eye, so I'll show you. I'm measuring to the selvage, which is this prepared edge. So I measure on one end of that straight of grain, and it's about 4 3/4. And then if I measure to the other edge of the straight of grain, well, it's also just about 4 3/4. So I have, in terms of eyeballing this, have done pretty well. So the next part is cutting out. So let me get my pattern pieces up where they need to be. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my dressmaking shears. Now I have several different pairs of dressmaking shears, some larger than others. This is a pretty light fabric. It's a light cotton, so I don't need heavy shears. I don't use pinking shears. I used to in the past. But one, this is a muslin, and I don't really worry about whether it's going to ravel or not. And secondly, I found that pinking shears just make little tiny bits of threads all over the place. And what I really can do is serge the edge or do some kind of edge binding that will keep my pattern pieces from fraying like crazy. So I'm going to start cutting, and you can see that even though these pattern pieces overlap, and if you don't want them to overlap, you can pull them across like this, but I can see that this is actually a straight piece, and so I can cut through that selvage edge or this extra piece of this pattern piece here. So I'm going to continue cutting out so I can pin this last piece, and I'll be back to you.